Everyone and the grandma wants to be a Genji main, and I'm noticing that in my games, so I might as well give you guys the most information I can to help you do better. For basic kit, you have shurikens, 2 ways of throwing them. Either way, the projectile, you shoot 3 at a time. And the first is a single fire shuriken line. Best used for long range to maybe get some damage and build your ultimate, or just to try and maybe secure a kill. Your secondary fire is a blade of fans, fan of blades, something like that. You just shotgun the shurikens at people. It's the most DPS out of both shuriken firing methods, and it's best used close range. For your first ability, you have deflect. You can deflect incoming projectiles. But not everything is a projectile in Overwatch. Some things are like ultimates, like Zarya Grav Tron Surge before it actually lands. Projectile may freeze her ultimate, also projectile before it lands. The fact you can deflect a freaking black hole but not a giant mech, come on, where's the realism? Beams cannot be deflected by Genji. So be careful when the enemy's running a bunch of beam characters that can just no skill roll you. Then you have Swift Strike, a dash that does 50 damage, and if you get kills with it, or if you get elimination and it's on cooldown, it resets the cooldown. If that person you touched within a certain time frame dies, you now have Swift Strike back on cooldown. So always be looking at this CD or listening for, like, you know, your screen to say eliminated this person, or like the text icon, because that gives you an idea of I can use this tool to get insane burst in. And your passive is a cyber wall climb. Cyber agility, you can wall climb like Hanzo and Kiriko can. You can also double jump, which is the one thing that the other nerds can't do. My solitude. For Genji's ultimate, you have a dragon blade. You can unsheath it, unleashing the dragons, I believe. And this gives you, I think, 6 seconds of just slashing and dashing. You also reset your Swift Strike if you've used it. I had no idea it also reloaded shurikens. So most Genjis dash in the sky, ask for a nano if they have an Ana, and then they just dash slice or slash dash. One of the two.
No flame, how far?
I can dash in the air.
Got the Mercy. I got the Mercy. Reaper point.
Speaking of Ana and Nano Blade, it's a very good combo, but I actually really enjoy having a Mercy pocket me if someone likes playing Mercy. I won't be like, hey, please play Mercy. I won't ask that, but when someone's playing Mercy, I'm playing Genji, it's kind of nice. You have basically a budget nano at all times with the right click and constant healing, because Mercy can't miss heals unless she's in Narnia and she can't heal you. And she can res you or die trying, but I respect the attempt nonetheless. We're close to some top tier Genji tips, but before that, thank today's sponsor, me. Be sure to like the video, leave a comment, it helps the algorithm a ton and it helps the video do better. Now for some Genji tips, the first and most important one is to always right click before you do anything. Right click dash, right click deflect, right click dragon blade, right click melee. You can just combo it in freely at all opportunities, and at the bare minimum, just make sure you right click Swift Strike. That is the most important thing you can do on Genji to just get extra damage, to get more secured kills, to try and guarantee more resets for your Swift Strike, and letting you actually just do more on Genji. A random tip is, if you're playing Genji and you're doing left clicks, which shoot the line shurikens, if you dash during it, if you melee, you can cancel it. You'll have like an odd number of shurikens left, and if you are at like 1 or 2, don't left click, instead right click or reload, whatever the case though. It's just a random thing to throw in there. And be sure to reload your shurikens before you go into a crazy fight. If you're gonna dash or right click somebody, make sure you actually have shurikens to right click with, because there's times where you mean to right click dash, but you didn't reload, so you don't have them, and you dash forward, you're like, oh sick, let me just go ahead and readjust myself and get my blades ready to start fighting again. So just try and keep track of that. The better you are at that, the better you'll do in the game for sure ski. The worst feeling playing Genji is using Dragon Blade and you slash somebody and then dash, but the slash kills them, and now you have an 8-second cooldown for Swift Strike, and you can't do anything with the blade really, because you only get 6 seconds at ultimate, and now you just have a useless blade. So you got 1 kill. It could have been like a team wipe, a crazy clip for the ages, clip of the year, but no. You wasted your Swift Strike. So be careful about using Swift Strike. Try your best to use it when you will get a guaranteed kill, or you know that your slash won't kill them during Dragon Blade. And it goes for in general. Like, try not to waste Swift Strike. Try and make sure you can guarantee kills with it, or get them shortly after, because otherwise you're just going to be having a horrible time playing Genji. Because in my case, that was the hardest thing to get good at, was just having better Swift Strike management, I suppose. Also, animation cancel your Dragon's Blade if you want to. You can either use a Swift Strike to cancel it towards the end of it, or you can wall climb. Some options there. And lastly, track cooldowns of the enemies you're facing. Like, you won't be perfect at it for the most part, but just Try and get better at recognizing that, because those ultimates, those abilities can shut down your blade and your kit in general. So be careful. And speaking of characters and ultimates and whatnot, let's go ahead and cover matchups when it comes to Genji. Genji does not the greatest versus things like Winston and Moira. Can you still play against them? Yes. Is it ideal? No. After some more thought, I do think Winston's not that big a counter for good Genjis, but for newer Genjis, he's annoying. I do believe that OhDough is very rough for Genji to deal with because you cannot kill him. It is almost impossible for Genji to kill OhDough, and OhDough all he has to do is hook you once and you're finitoed. As far as DPS goes, it's not ideal to play against the Torbjorn because of his turret, which you can kill. What the f is that turret placement? He also has armor, and he has the ability to get more health, making him hard to kill as well, making your Swift Strike get less value. Mei and McCree, kind of the same thing. They have more health than usual DPS. McCree has a tracking grenade that does 130 damage to you if it hits you, which is very easy to hit you with. You can deflect it, but it's very hard to. It requires you to just like know and get in his mind, be like, yep, you cast an ability, and then you deflect. Mei, she can left click you and you can't do anything about it. You can't deflect that at all. And she can ice block to save herself, making it to where you get, again, less dash resets. Another DPS Genji has a hard time dealing with would be Pharah, because she can fly high in the sky. And she has a Mercy pocket. It is very difficult to kill both the Mercy and the Pharah in the sky. Genji is best played when you can just keep getting dash resets constantly, which does rely on your team to be good, and in a lot of cases to have a Winston play with you to help you dive people, or a Diva or anything like that, or just people to help you dive in general and just focus certain targets. That is going to be a big thing when playing Genji to get the most value from the character. And aside from that, your healers are also a massive impact. For me personally, I like having Ana Mercy be my healers. Nah, not Bap. Bap can't hit you in the air very easily. Supports I'm not a big fan of playing with as Genji would be Brigitte, Lucio, and Baptiste. Mostly due to a lack of strong enough range shields. Bap has good range shields, but not great at landing among Genji, given I'm jumping around, and also their ultimates don't do a whole lot for me personally. There's two techniques or combos I didn't mention. One is ghost dashing, where you dash very quickly. I'm not very good at it, so I never use it. The other is when you dash towards someone's feet and then you right click melee, or shotgun shuriken melee. Let's talk about Genji's viability. He's a great character right now, very strong, but he will be getting a nerf apparently to his shurikens, which is why I didn't say the damage they deal, because that will be changing as far as we know. And it makes some sense, like with shields being gone in the game, Genji gets so much more value, and having tanks that can dive with you, it's just nuts what the homie can do. No stuns really for the most part. He can just get so much more free reign than he had before. At least like once we had double shields and stuff. And all the insane stuns like Brig, Shield Bash, and all that stuff. So Genji gets a lot more value. He's a ton of fun to play. And if you're a new player, I do suggest you try him out. But just understand that if you're doing well in Genji, people will usually try and swap to counter you. Winston, Moira, just to name a few, just name like the two like almost instant picks that people go, which is smart. It makes sense. And that's a tip right there too. If you're having a hard time playing against Genji, maybe your tank goes Winston, or for sure one of your supports goes Moira. Especially if you're playing Zen and the Genji keeps killing him. Making them go Moira. She's good. She's a good healer right now. She'll probably get nerfed too. But Genji is a great time. I suggest him highly. He's very fun. He is difficult to play, but he's rewarding. And it just feels so sick to get like dash resets and just have good Dragon Blades. I would say he's on my top 3 of most fun DPS heroes to play in Overwatch ever. What do you think? Is he fun to play? Is he easy or hard to play against? What are your thoughts on the cybernetic dude Genji? And as always, thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.